in the front row. Best place to be.
It's been great with him. I'm so grateful to be under his wing as my first year's strength coach. He's really knowledgeable in how his background. First of all, obviously being the son of George Karl, he's been around the NBA all his life, and then from his professional playing career, he's been around Phil Jackson, and Phil Jackson's been his mentor. So, I mean, those are arguably two of the greatest coaches we have that he's learned from. Mm-hmm. So he brings this wealth of knowledge that's not just X's and O's, it's culture, it's passion for the game, it's the psychology. How can we tune into these guys' minds and get them to want to learn more? Basketball is an ultra repetitive sport. Everything's just done over and over. The problem is that learning becomes stagnant. Right. So one of the beauties of what he brought to the team was this our way culture, which is basically a high energy, more fun way of doing things that you do every single day. To be grateful of where you're at, have fun with your teammates, care about each other. You find different drills, you manipulate things to kind of get these guys to suddenly start thinking a different way. It's not just going through the motions of basketball every day. When you do start doing stuff like this, I think the players start realizing that you really do care for them. They sense it's different. Because they've all done the basketball over and over, so it is time to start, connecting as a team and doing things differently, which sometimes it's different, but sometimes the guys are like, I've never done anything like this before. We surprised them this year on day one of training camp. No basketball at all, even though they're all dressed ready to play. We surprised them with day one of our way culture. All these different team drills, team bonding, creative celebrations, whatever it is, just getting these guys to have fun and be energetic and ultimately ready for day two of that, which would be basketball. But that was so from the get-go, from day one, and then all throughout the season, Kobe found different ways to implement this our way energy, whether it's them reading off culture sheet, motivational
Even had Rondo
quotes.
doing it, right?
Even had Rondo doing it, so that's all right. Numerous different team meetings we would either talk about a family tree, or we would talk about things we were proud of, things we were really regretful of, amongst each other.
Oh, that's nice.
Sacrifice for the last month of the season, what we each person sacrifice,
and what's that big chain that they?
The culture chain,
Culture chain.
I think that got implemented around, towards mid-season, but not quite in the beginning of the season. So whoever earned it through showing, true our way culture, earned it for that day, and they got to wear it for 24 hours. Even though it's extremely heavy
It's
and
huge.
Uncomfortable. It's more like a punishment.
Yeah, it's almost like a punishment.
I vote for the belt, which it was between a chain or a belt. I vote for the belt next season. So that's just another way to reward guys for the unrewarded things,
Right.
In a league that's driven about performance, stats, numbers, right? And that's just what drives these guys. It's crazy at times. Is everything's performance, everything's numbers. Do they like you on Instagram, or do they not like you? I'm not playing well enough. And that's what disrupts the psychology so much. It's such a blessing that we can do things differently, shake it up, and get them to understand the connection and the deeper side of basketball, because through Kobe Karl being so well networked, during our playoff run last year, we were lucky enough to have numerous head coaches through high school to the NBA send us clips of 5 minutes of what they think championship caliber basketball is.
That's cool.
Everybody there was being a champion from high school, college, and two NBA standouts were Mike Fizdale and Steve Kerr.
Fizdale, who's the head coach at the Knicks right now.
Right, yeah. And both of them obviously talked about the team first, culture, connecting, how important that is beyond talent and all that. And you start to see that, when you can lean on each other. And like we said on day one, we had a special motivational coach to kind of help us with all this, by the way. His name's Scott Sabor. He came and joined us for a few games. A tall, bald guy, who sat next to me, also very loud. He joined us, I think, one time per month for a few days just to kind of check in on us and revamp things. But he is the mastermind behind a lot of the culture influence. He coaches the coaches, checks in on them every week, has meetings, and they talk about their development. So through this guy, who came in on day one and implement our way culture, as he summed it up, this may not win you a game, but it might stop you from losing a game.
Okay.
So the reason it was like, okay, let's suddenly have fun instead of being all super focused. It's because we want you to connect. We want you to understand each other. We want you to care about the player, care about the person, not just the player. Because these are the things that in deep moments of, you're going through something, your rest not giving you the calls, when you're down 10, but you still got enough time. These are the connections, the times where you're connected as teammates so you can rally together and do something special. And especially with G League, was how, players go injured, players go up, players go down, they get called up.
A lot of changes.
So much change. We needed guys to step up throughout the year, and that's also where this kind of helps, because the 12th man or whatever, the bottom guy is equally connected to the starters because of all these different things. Whereas in the NBA can become a bit of a hierarchy.
Right.
If you're at the bottom of the bench, you're kind of always with a different coach doing different things. You don't always get into the drills, right?
So for you started out as a Lakers ball boy,
Started
or
as
ball
a Lakers
man,
boy. Ball boy, yeah.
And so you've seen different coaches coaching.
Yeah, and because we also always shared a facility with the back then defenders, I've seen the coaches they've gone through as well. Because I actually started as a ball boy for the defenders, but within a few games, because it was the lockout season, I got moved up to the Lakers because they were on lockout, and then they started up again. Like, hey, we need somebody, and then I got my opportunity. But technically, I always started with the defenders. Did a couple of seasons with them along with the Lakers, and then I was only a Laker ball boy / equipment manager, assistant equipment manager for 4 seasons until Kobe retired, and then I got my shot and promotion up to being the strength coach, equipment manager, and soft tissue specialist for the South Bay Lakers. Although it was LA Defenders for my last year.
LA Defenders, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, you were there while Kobe was scoring in his last game.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience, and was it life changing as a coach? Somebody who wanted to be a coach, just watching that go on, thinking, what was going through your head as a coach? Like as a fan, there's a fan, but then as a coach, what kind of things were going through your head?
Well, I mean, you're proud to be part of it, first of all. Amazed that it's happening, because I didn't see, too many great Kobe moments aside from that. I came, the lockout year, we had a couple, and then the Dwight Howard year, he definitely had some incredible moments.
Right.
After that, it was just injury after injury.
Right.
So this was, first of all, my most special moment of experiencing Kobe Bryant. I never saw a championship, but I will take this final. He started out rocky, and you're like, oh God, I just hope he has a good game. And then he just kept shooting, kept going in, kept going in, and it's like the place was just getting louder and louder. Every time it would go in, I would just burst out laughing, because it's just like you felt like this little kid. I'm the ball boy serving the Utah Jazz, so I'm right there, and they're just frowning. They're like not enjoying it. They were trying.
Yeah.
They were actually trying hard, but they were not enjoying the moment, which I thought was incredible. But it's just like, it was just one of the most surreal moments. And what I feel really proud of is because, so Kobe Bryant in his last 2 years with the Lakers, he got his own private trainer therapist to work on, and they would go into the Kings locker room by themselves to do his treatment. His name's Mike Oviedo. He works with Baylor Scott and White Research Company. Really great guy. Because those locker room, the Kings locker room was right next to the visiting he would always bump into me, and this guy ended up like teaching me a few things
Oh,
and
nice.
like not mentoring me, but kind of almost mentoring me short term. So already getting these like tips and formulating this philosophy that actually was pretty in sync with what I believed in anyway, but it was just improving it with his knowledge. I thought it was kind of a special moment for me. Because whereas this guy probably got shunned off by the Laker training staff, who rightly so might be pissed off because who's this new guy taking Kobe away, I was very receptive to everything he was saying. I wanted to pick his brain, and so I was like, wow, this is really cool that I get to spend time with Kobe's personal therapist who gets him ready for these games. Because ultimately that led me to having this vision of I want to be that guy that prepares the athlete for his ultimate moment. Because Kobe Bryant, being somebody that we know is really into his visualization training. He's into meditation. He's into all the internal stuff, everything.
Is that a
mental.
Phil Jackson thing, you think?
I think ultimately, plus it's a Kobe Bryant. I want to be the best at everything.
Right.
But he was definitely receptive to Phil's teachings, but I think Kobe just wants to be the best at everything. That naturally, when you research sports psychology, you research about, you pick up on the things that probably a lot of Olympic athletes do, have to be extra dialed in for their once in the 4 years
yourself
moment.
ahead of everybody else.
So I think Kobe was one of those, not pioneers, but he kind of made it popular that I am also a mental trainer as much as physical training.
This past season, you had a bigger role, right? Well, I mean, the past couple seasons.
You know what it is? It's just players were more open to me.
They're more open to you.
My first year was frustrating. The players were, and that was our most talented year. Actually we didn't go as far as last year.
That's
but
the Vanderblue year.
Vanderblue, Justin Harper, Josh Majette.
Yeah.
That way I say it was better a year because we were first place in the West. Our coaching staff were the coaches at the All-Star game. We had 2 calls up. David Nwaba got called up.
Right, David Nwaba's in the NBA.
Yeah, Justin
Not very
Harper.
often that happens, but it did happen.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still there.
Huge,
yeah.
and he's still there.
But Justin Harper got his call up.
Yeah.
Vanderblue won MVP of the league.
Right.
We were just killing for a while. We only made it to the first round of the playoffs, but they were lazy and they didn't they weren't as receptive to me.
Right.
Last year, first year South Bay Lakers, it was better. I had my people, my core friends that came to me all the time, but then there were still a handful that weren't involved. This year, Kobe Carl made it mandatory for people to see me for pregame warm-ups, and he had numerous mandatory team lifts throughout the year, which actually that's more chaotic for me than anything because I got six at a time in the weight room, and I got to make it work. And knowing me, I'm all into body position, breathing, and all that,
so
and somehow trying to, but I made it work. However, the guys, because they saw me so often, they did pick up on the concept. They did apply. They did learn. They bought in. They were receptive. It was a blessing. I'm so fortunate because I've seen how it can be when they're not, and that's so frustrating. And this year, they really did just believe in me, and I would like to think that they felt better out of it. I would hope so.
There was a lot of youth on this team this year.
A lot more youth can be a problem because youth are the brains are all over the place. They're not into the preparation as much as your vet who's injured and been there. The vets always need the help because they know what it takes. But the youth, they don't know. All it takes is a few injuries, knock on wood, sadly. But
it doesn't happen.
then they realize, I gotta take care of my body day in, day out.
Did you have anything to do with Jeffrey Carroll? I mean, he went from a boot to being one of the better players on the team this season. I would have liked to seen him get a call up as well.
Yeah, so we worked together day in, day out while he was going through rehab. He got stronger in that time. We definitely needed him to step up. We were, like I said, G League, losing people going up, down, people getting called up. he always had his turn throughout the season, but I think during the later half is when we needed him more.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show, like, no matter what, yeah, there'll be times in the G League where you'll sit on the bench, but trust me, just wait it out, and then before you know it, you'll be starter.
Right.
Marcus Allen being a typical example where he went from no minutes to then being, our most consistent starter.
Right.
Just all these young guys need to understand is patience.
The referees do a good job.
Which level? I think the G League is a very challenging level to start a professional referee. But we're all trying to learn.
Kobe got thrown out of one game.
Yeah, so some of that I don't agree with, and I wish they would be. Well, I guess they get rescinded. So I guess there is a voice, because there is a voice of defense or whatever reason. Because I believe that time, yes, he got one of those, or two, not both of those technicals rescinded. But he still got kicked out of the game very early on. So it's like,
I mean, the F word's used all the way through the NBA. Why can't you use it in the G League? That's what I want to know.
I mean, from what I hear, they get evaluated heavily. I mean, what's funny, is like one of my team attendants, because I on game days have these team attendants, and one of their responsibilities is to check on the locker room.
Right.
Apparently, in halftime, they heard the supervisor going off on the referees.
Oh.
So, I mean, I was just like, I didn't know, I wasn't expecting that, but it's kind of funny. Like, yeah, they do get scrutinized even at halftime, but. Does it make the call? I mean, yeah, it's good to know, but it's
if you had a potential employer watching this video, how would you describe your personality?
I like to show how passionate I am about human movement, and human movement tends to be about energy, so I like to create energy. And I like to show people, take them on almost like a little journey of movement. And that's why, like I said, I'm pretty particular about how I do things and approach. But, I want to trust me and let me show you how I can make you feel better, move better.
You're confident in your skills.
I feel very confident because I've been very fortunate to learn from a lot of good minds. This didn't necessarily come through academics. This came through post-academics, just connected to different professionals.
Right.
And not just in the NBA. There are a handful, but more so outside the NBA, people who put on these different certification seminars, which I've done a handful of, continuing education purposes, just because, you pursue good skills.
Yeah.
And I'm able to, combine these numerous good skills that really give me a good grasp on how we're supposed to move. And I'm just so passionate about humans, is where we've come from, where we're going. This kind of this total package of, like I said, I'm about the earth now, and it's like, I feel like we've become very derailed as humans anyway in what we do in life, and it's evident in, how we are with our mental state, mental health, illness, all that. The right message is not being pushed, and the right information is not out there. There's too much BS that we have to filter through.
Yeah.
So again, this is why I'm really passionate and pretty direct and outspoken when it comes to this stuff, but that's because I'm here to try and create a change, along with the many other wise people that are also trying to make a change, but there's just not enough but what's moral needs to kind of, or let me say, our priorities in life need to revamp and reshape for the future.
Okay, and one last thing. I want to give you a chance to give a message to all the South Bay Lakers that you coached this past season. Any advice or anything you'd want to give, or thank you you'd want to give to your team?
Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for buying in. Don't forget anything I tell you, because that stuff is for life. And if you take it with you anywhere you go, it's going to help you. I'm always here to help. I'm not here to do this for money. I'm here to help people, so they can always reach out to me and I can refresh them. but just keep on working, you know, and take care of your body.
And congratulations! I hear you're getting married in July. In
yes,
Scotland.
Yes,
I'm very excited for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations on the award, the first ever.
Gratitude.
And gratitude is major. So I'm appreciative of your time, and thank you for sharing this with us.
Hi, my name's Misha Cavaye. I am the strength coach, massage therapist, and equipment manager for the South Bay Lakers, and I'm in the front row.
You wanna find me? Yeah, I'm in the front row. Got my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be, I'm in the front row.
Best place to be, yeah.
If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. Got my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. It's the best place to be, I'm in the front row.
Best place to be, yeah.
So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I be in the front row chilling at a ball game. Yeah, you know what they say, when you're having fun, time flies. Catch me courtside chilling with